Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Barron. We are here to talk about One Piece, chapter 1168. I hope all of you are having a great day, or I hope all of you are having a great time catching this. I thoroughly enjoyed this chapter. This was a very good chapter. It had a lot of, kind of things. It had a lot of pieces that I had to really sit down and think about, and honestly it really just boils down to the choice of decision, right? The title of the chapter is Elbaf Snow, and we get this really cool image of, I believe it's one of the Hody Jones pirates. I believe it's like the octopus from Fishman Island. He is receiving hand warmers, or gloves if you would, from a bunch of sheep. So that's kind of cool. I guess they shaved themselves to give this 8-arm guy the gloves. I guess that kind of makes sense. Or maybe like these are a bunch of minks. Okay, I don't want to spend too long on this because it doesn't matter, but I just got a little interested by that. We see Harald kind of yelling at Elbaf in a good way with a megaphone, kind of declaring the way that we will be incorporated in the world government, in the outer world. He says that the giants are actually a minority, and it's interesting that they are the only island that hasn't really integrated with the other races, such as all the other islands. The giants are taken back by this, and we see around the world that the giants are very respected, for the marine work and their good efforts in the navy. Everyone seems to also be enjoying Elbaf seafood, something that that Luffy obviously is very fond of. But it's very shocking. It's very shocking, right? Right after this, we see the good that Harald has brought to the world, through this kind of integration of giants in the world. And we cut to Ida bedside, and she's sick, right? She's passing away from this poison illness, and Harald is kind of just speaking about everything that he has done for Elbaf and everything that he's done for the people. He's kind of just retelling this to Ida, and he's saying that he's happy the ways of the past are being washed away, and that giants aren't remembered anymore for being vile, violent creatures. Even though most of Elbaf wasn't really that violent, it was just kind of the escapees, or if the escapees is kind of crazy, but those who ventured out to Elbaf, those who ventured out from Elbaf, they were very violent. But that's assuming that the rest of the world is also pretty violent, which if you look at the world government isn't all the way incorrect, but I guess that's splitting hairs, right? We see that Ida says that the warriors culture of Elbaf was kind of cool, and it's interesting being that she didn't want Harald to be outwardly violent and torment people, but the culture and the idea of it, of protecting one another and protecting one's homeland, I think is where it really stems from. That was always pretty interesting to Ida. But hurting others and using it for violence and using it for wrongdoing, I think that's where Ida drew the line, and I think it's just a little bit of nuance in her character. I really appreciate that from Ida. We obviously see her pass, and Haruden rushes to her side. Loki is in chains, obviously, from nuking fucking Elbaf, like fucking let off a ballistic nuke with his fucking with Mjolnir, right? So Loki's in prison, but obviously he hears the cries from Harald and Haruden and the townsfolk. It's really sad, really unfortunate shit, man. But also, we see after this that Harald is summoned. Harald is summoned to the world government in Marijois because, well, not Marijois, I think it's a castle in Marijois, because Shanks kind of skipped out on them, right? We could assume this is when Shanks kind of restarted, if you would, his pirating career, after taking some time away to gather intel in the Holy Land. And with this, Harald is branded with the mark of the Abyss, right? This grants him the power of immortality, right? Harald is very surprised, he's saying like, hey, like when I come into power, when you guys give me this brand, I kind of want to step down and let somebody who's younger, take the reins so I can kind of sit back and enjoy life. And as he's saying this in the throne room, fucking insane the Gorsei brought him here, by the way. Personally, if I was them, I wouldn't do this. I'm not going to trust this nigga like that. But he's insanely massive. But I guess the idea that they're gonna put entire control over him with the abyssal mark kind of negates all that. We'll get into that later, but it was just insane, the amount of trust that they have in him to bring him into the throne room when he could have just popped shit off like Sabo. Whatever, right? So Emu, he comes in and he says, hey, or she, they, whatever, Emu says, that's not a decision for you, Harald, that's a decision for me. And essentially what we get after is Harald being marked. He screams in pain, and he's gifted the power of immortality. This is the exact same mark that we've seen on the kind of armband of one of the Holy Knights. I can't remember their name. It's like starts with a Q or something. This is, I think it's the dragon one, or the fishman one, because that's fishman teeth. But Oda has a real funny way of designing these guys, so I'm not really too sure what he is. But it is a design that we have seen before in the Holy Knights, obviously implying that the Holy Knights is an army that is giving these immortal abyssal powers. Very scary shit moving forward for my boy Sanji. I don't know if he's going to be able to lock in like that, but we will see. Maybe he could turn on those eye fruit Jambe. Maybe we turn that eye fruit Jambe, tap into them Germa genes, who knows. I think he should be okay. But after, Harald is very surprised. He's like, yo, like, what do you mean? Like, who are you? What's going on? But Mu never responds, right? Mu implies that, after Harald carries out this final wish, that Elbaf will finally be kind of, fully ingratiated in the world government. And this, it leaves Harald ecstatic, and he's so happy. He goes back to the Holy Land. He follows their commands, which is very important. He listens to them, right? He crafts the abyss in the castle, which is obviously a flashback to what we see when we enter the castle originally. Oh man, Oda has such an insane way of tying everything together. What a fucking beautiful mind he has, man. Harald essentially says to Mu, telepathically, like, okay, hey, like, what's going on? I finished this, like, give me your next command. And we flash to Quest Castle, and Harald is being relayed the information from Mu that he wants Harald to create an army the size of the Navy to stand side by side with the world government and serve the world, right? And it's really scary because this is essentially going against everything Harald has wished for, goes against the schools, the reteaching, the kind of nurturing path that Harald has taken, through the eyes of Ida, right? And it's RIP Ida, big shit, man. Big RIP Ida shit. Obviously, Harald is kind of like disobedient, and he's like, yo, I don't really agree with this. This is crazy. You're tweaked the fuck out. I'm not doing this. Like, this is really insane. He starts asking a bunch of questions. He even asks, really simple, like he even says something as simple as like, I'll gladly encourage them to enlist in the Marines, like saying like, hey, I'll help them like join your ranks, right? But like, I'm not just gonna give them up. And then Imu reminds him what he said that fateful day, right? You said that you would do anything to atone for the Elbaf's history, even at the cost of becoming a slave. Now hold thy tongue. This nigga Mu is nuts, bro. He's crazy. He essentially shuts down all of his speech functions, right? Like, he closes his tongue, he closes his mouth, and he starts commanding him to walk, right? It's fucking insane. With this, right, Harald like blacks out. He's like, yo, guards, like, help me. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm tweaking out, right? He's like walking, he's waving his sword. This is obviously, a flashback to when Loki walks in on him and he's kind of swinging at the guards. That makes sense now, doesn't it? Right? Thank you, Oda. It's really insane. And we see that, Harald's first command, when he understands like the full extent of Imu's kind of, control, really, like it is a covenant. It is a covenant made by Harald on behalf of Harald, so it's kind of his fault, right? He asks for Loki and Huron, right? And that is officially where we pick up with this backstory. This shit was such a dope fucking chapter, man. I really appreciated, I really liked everything about this, and I really appreciate how everything just ties together so neatly. It is so fucking convenient how you can just pick up one chapter and literally go right back to this after the break next week, because there is a break next week, sorry guys, and you'll be fine. You'll be perfectly fine. 10 out of 10 chapter all around, man. No bullshit. And honestly, I'm really happy with everything we got. I will be getting to AEW's Collision very shortly, so all of you guys stick around for that. I hope all of you enjoyed the chapter. All right, this is your boy Kappa D Barra. All right, as I always say, hope all of you stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. All right, peace.